is where
What is happening, everybody? Paul here. We're back with some more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is my little Queen's Blood attempting tutorial video. If I can help anybody out. Because I was getting frustrated finding videos on this, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was playing this game the wrong way. But first things first, make sure you go to each vendor in each town you go to, especially in Com, because you're gonna be. This is like the first main city you get into the game. Make sure you just buy out each vendor so they don't have any more cards left. That way you have more variety of cards that you can actually play against your opponent. So this quest makes you have to fight against Queen's Blood against somebody to get this guy's card back. I forgot the guy's name, but I think the guy you're going to be going against, his name is Vigil. And this dude has the Chocobo and Moogle card, so he wants you to play it against him and get his card back. So let me skip to the next part. First things first, make sure you have a good hand. Sometimes you might not have a good hand, and you have the chance to actually swap out cards. The trick to this game is not to focus on the number on the side, the upper right-hand corner. That's what I did in the very beginning. You want to focus on the left-hand side of the card first, which obviously shows a single. It looks like a pawn. I'll call it a little pawn. A single pawn is the first card you'll be able to play. The security officers and the pelican, or that pelican looking thing right there, make sure you have at least, well, you can only allow to have 2, so make sure you have the maximum number of those cards in your deck. Because the whole point of this is to take over the board as fast as you can. Take over as many spaces as you can without letting the opponent be able to, like, take over your side of the board. So obviously you can tell now I'm getting the hang of the game. I played 2 security officers right off the bat. Even though they're both level 1s, I have more spaces to play more cards. It gives me access to the board. If you play a high number level card like this Elephant Dunk right off the bat, it's not going to give you the points that you need. I mean the spots on the board, because if you can see the squares on the card, it shows that it gives you 1 back spot, 2 above. So you don't want to play that card first. Obviously you can't either because it's a level 2 pawn. So you just watch how I beat him here, and then focus on the cards and the abilities. And take some time to actually think out what you're going to do, especially when you're further on in the game and the opponents become a little bit more challenging. Just read each ability and look at the fact that if you look at the bottom of each card, it has like a box and it shows you like a little table and these highlighted squares. It kind of gives you a little background of what the card can do. So if it has yellow squares, it means it gives you access to certain spots on the board. If it has a red square, I'm pretty sure that means it damages that card in that specific square. And those cards are actually good to have, later on. But in the very beginning of the tutorial games and like the opponents you fight, you don't really have to worry about that. Just focus on taking over as many squares as you can, and then beating your opponent, so that way they have no access to any more squares.
You got some serious skills,
so that's exactly what I did here, and I finally beat the dude.
Here's your card.
I got the Chocobo Moogle card.
I'll be bringing my A game.
So back. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this part of the video of the tutorial. On to the next section. So obviously, when you make it to Cameron, you want to make sure that you've beaten everybody in the Junon region that prior to this battle and in the grasslands. So now I'm over here trying to pick up my deck. You want to keep all the level 1 cards and 2s that are common. I actually made the mistake of getting rid of some common cards here and went a little bit too powerful. But it all basically comes down to patience. So once you get patience and you actually think out loud, or you just take your time, then you can actually end up beating this guy. Because if you pick out all the cards and you buy each vendor card, you should have enough good cards to beat him. It just all depends on your deck and your hand, basically. So I'm going to skip to the next part. Yeah, so right here, he ended up beating me. He played that Midgard some more card. I had no idea what he pulled off right there. As you can tell, I got pretty mad and I just restarted the game. That was like my third try. But right here, I just decided to take out a few cards I wasn't going to use. Mainly cards that took about, like, 2 pawns in order to put on the table. I decided to put more 1 pawn requirements. 1 card, like just having like one pawn spot. More common cards. I kept Titan, Shiva, the Moogle card, and a few cards I bought from the vendors. So this is gonna be a little fast forwarded, but this is the way I beat him finally. The security officers, you always definitely want to keep 2 of those cards in your deck. I mean, that's the maximum you can have anyways, but because they give you more spots. Like again, I said before, you've got to make sure that you take over the table, take as many spots as you can fast. Because even though he can play another card and take your spot, which is annoying, because that's like the only downside of being able to play the first hand. In every game, you're always the first one to play, so they always got the advantage in a way right there. But you can always take over that spot again. You just gotta play around with the card, mix around, make sure that you can take that spot back. Because see, notice how it's still red in the middle right there. The middle spot is still red. So I have the Shiva card. I'm not gonna play it right now, but I have this crab. I can actually get the middle spot back. So he destroyed my card right there. So this card is really good. I had no idea what that card could do at first. Because he was playing it on me before and I didn't realize I had one. That card can destroy his cards too. Same with this card. But you gotta be careful where you put it. You can actually destroy your cards too. But sometimes it's good to destroy your cards if you're not going to use them. If you want to actually play a higher hand. But make sure if you destroy your cards, you have at least 1 or 2 cards in front of that card. That way they can't take over that spot. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible the way I'm explaining it. I know I'm not like Queen's Blood vocabulary here. So I put the Moogle here. Powered up that by 2. Even though it still gave me, I still have 7 points, which I don't understand completely what that card does. So far I'm beating him in 2 spots. That's a good thing. That's a good sign. I got 7 and 3 right now on the bottom. I'm about to increase my score too. So right now I was trying to decide which row I would beat him in, which one was the most easiest to defeat him. So right now I'm losing the top row. So I was like debating if I should keep losing on the top row and then continue to beat him in the bottom and the middle row. Because this card can destroy one of his cards. Yeah, so I decided to keep beating him in the bottom row. If you have the higher score in the bottom row, middle row, whatever row, just keep beating him in that row. Especially a champion like this guy. Now I'm like, okay, this guy can't play any more cards in the middle row or the bottom row. Let me see if I can try to beat him in the top row now. Whatever I can play. What is it? The Leviathan? That's a good card to have. Make sure you have 2 of those in your deck too. I put Shiva there, so Shiva gave me 7 points automatically because he put him out in its spot. So he actually ended up beating me in the middle row because he had a free spot open. And then he destroyed one of my cards here. But if you can tell, now I'm beating him in the top row. And I'm beating him in the bottom row. So I ended up beating him, finally. But this is such a good feeling though. Then once the game ends, there's like a different little cutscene. There's some lore behind this Queen's Blood tournament and this game behind the card, so it's pretty interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Well, I'll let the game play out.
This is all wrong. I don't understand. It was just supposed to be a game. No. There it is again. That voice. Could it be? Has returned? No, that's impossible. It's just a silly card game. Oh God. What have I done? I have to tell them. They all need to know the terrible truth about Queen's blood.
You okay? Were you granted a transcendent vision, as I too was? You look as though you've just seen a ghost. Saying that, I'm reminded of the story of Ledrell Balmon, the creator of Queen's Blood. After he started selling cards, he spoke of hearing a strange voice. He then withdrew from the public eye and became a recluse. No one saw him again until his death. There's no shortage of people who've had their lives turned upside down by the cards. Just goes to show what a deep and captivating game it is. Indeed, this match of ours stands as proof of that truth as well, I believe. Thank you for this experience, my friend.
So we just beat him. I gotta say, I'm definitely loving the card game now. I probably took me like about 4 tries and I finally got it down. But I noticed I have to actually like take my time and think before I put down cards. It takes a lot of patience because you can have a hand that could be really great and you can literally misuse it easily. And that's what I almost did the last round, but I realized what I could do. So, yeah, I hope that helped watching me do that. Use those cards because every town you go to, make sure you just empty out the vendors, buy the newest cards you can find, and then keep a legendary card or 2 in each deck you have. Don't put every legendary card in each deck. Or like don't, obviously, if you have like 4 legendary cards, don't use 4 legendary cards in that one deck. You gotta have at least a lot of common cards too to make up spots. So, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace out.